I am so excited to be diving into another Rebel Radio conversation with my new friend, Jennifer Cramer Lewis. Thank you for being on the show today. Welcome. Tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love the way that we met. It was like totally correct to have a conversation with you. I work with conscious spiritual female business owners, and I help them to be surrounded by the support strategies, systems, and structures necessary to take their mind, emotions, and energy into a place where that they can command the lifestyle and the money that they desire. And that brings them the peace, abundance that they crave. They don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. They actually want to spend time with the people that they love. They really enjoy their work. There might be a frustration aspect of their work. And, for me, I really think, and I know we're aligned on this, that when the money is in the hands of the people who can do the most with it, the world will change.
Oh, yes. The more money we make as heart-centered beings, the more we can create positive impact in the world. I just love that so much. So you label yourself as a wealth shaman. Tell me more about that.
Oh, yes. Well, it's interesting. I have a huge background in real estate and finance and investment properties and basically playing Tetris with money.
I love it.
And so the whole entire time, I actually have sort of a family lineage of being connected to the earth and being connected to abundance and just really having no real reason to deny that, I have really amazing psychic spiritual gifts. I'm very, very connected to the earth. I see energy streams. And these were the things that kept me alive in that world. I was like, ooh, I better not open that door. I better not open that file today. I better open this file today. And so I would say that my ability to, see the energy streams and see the futures before they happen really kept me alive in that world. I would say I wasn't well suited to that world, though. At the end of it, when I decided that I just couldn't do it anymore, I was turning into Don Draper of Mad Men. I was having to have 2 stiff drinks so that I could be nice to my family at the end of the day. Right. And, I had amazing, horrible insomnia. I just was... Yeah, it was interesting. We were talking before we went on live, and I had a tremendous amount of frustration. I was like, I can't get what I want. And so, a wealth shaman, you think about how abundant the earth is. The earth doesn't like put 6 leaves on a tree. It puts 6 million leaves on a tree, and the earth doesn't, send out a tiny little spray of pollen. It like sends pollen all over the side of your house and down your driveway and over onto the neighbor's property. And, this is what wealth is. Wealth is available. We just have to get into the stream of it. That's all.
Oh, I love that so much. So speaking of, before we got on the show, I shared a little bit of your numerology with you. So I'm curious, what was the biggest kind of aha or takeaway moment from that I shared with you really quickly?
Yeah, well, I knew that I was a 5. And so they're all about freedom, adventure, new ways of doing things, new experiences. And the shadow self can be, getting locked up, creating freedom and experiences and stuff for other people,
right?
But not for yourself. And then also the shadow can be, creating wealth and abundance for other people and not for yourself. So I was aware of that. What I wasn't aware of, that I am aware of, that I hadn't seen in my numerology before, is that I'm very able to put together a system for anything. Yeah. And I know that about myself. I'm like, okay, you want to get that? You have this. Oh, I know what systems we can put in place to be able to get you there.
Yeah, the ability to see the finer details of the plan. I love it. I love it. So good. So Along the way of this whole Rebel Radio journey, I've been asking everybody what self-mastery means to you. I feel like it's a word or a term that everybody has a different definition. So I'd love to know what you think self-mastery is.
Oh, I love that. Well, when I was a kid, I was a champion equestrian. I grew up on a horse farm. My mom was a trainer, and she also, taught riding lessons and clinics and all of that kind of stuff. And so back in the 70s, when your mom was a horse trainer, you just basically got thrown on a horse and you would just ride your horse all day during the riding lessons if you wanted, or you could go play in your treehouse, or you could go over to the neighbors. And, what I notice is the more that you do the things that you're supposed to be doing, not from a heavy place, just for example, say you've got a presentation coming up. If you gave yourself 6 weeks to be ready for a presentation and you just meditated on each slide and just, the repetition of what you're planning on saying in each slide, so in horseback riding, you don't get to be a champion without, one, a really great energetic marriage between you and your horse. And then a really, really great marriage between your energy centers and your body and your horse. And so, for me, it's giving myself the space to be able to receive the information deeply in my body that I need to be able to have mastery over whatever it is. And I'm also getting visions of like ballerinas, right? They do all of that bar work, all of that repetition, all of the plies and the, pointing their toes 1,000,000 times in a week. And, and then eventually what happens is your body has mastery. Whether you think you can't do it in your head, your body has the mastery of what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the whole concept of 10,000 hours makes an expert, right? When you're dedicated and devoted to what you want to do, then it becomes, I don't like the word discipline. I feel like that is way too strict, but I do like the word blisscipline. And like doing it with this absolute devotion because you want to be an expert in it. I know a lot of people ask me about why are you so good on video? Well, I did a Facebook Live every single weekday for 3 years straight. That's the reason I'm good at it. It did not come naturally. If you see my first video, it was really bad.
Awesome.
Love that definition. That's amazing. So how has self-mastery supported you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur?
I love that question. I think self-mastery isn't a destination.
Yes.
Self-mastery is a conscious choice each day to, really be conscious of what's going on in your world, conscious of what's going on in your body, conscious of what's going on in here and in your guts. And because one of the things I give people permission to do that they haven't had before is to have a holistic experience with their business. They've gone here for counseling. They've gone here for coaching. They've gone here for a personal trainer. They've gone here for, a business analyst. And I have all of that underneath my umbrella. I used to hire out for it, but, I have a better understanding energetically of what the client can do and where they're going. And so, as a business owner and me, myself, this self-mastery really is a conscious choice, so if I'm not going to choose it, then, the results are going to be kind of shitty. And I've seen that for myself. I've tried to check out of my life. I've tried to check out of my business. I've tried to check out of relationships. And, if nobody's driving the bus, then really nobody's driving the bus. And that's not to say you can't have a day off.
Yeah. You're allowed to have a shitty day. Just don't have a shitty life.
And don't take your shitty day into your business. If you know you're having a shitty day, text everybody you need to know who needs to know you're having a shitty day. Don't say, I'm having a shitty day. Just be like, there's something coming up for me, and I'm not going to be able to, have our sessions today. I'm not going to be able to have this discussion today. I actually have it written in my contract. I call it my A game clause.
I love
my
that.
A game. No. And I make my clients initial it.
I love that. That's amazing.
I'm like, and you're welcome to do the same thing. Try to give me 24 hours, but if you literally cannot give me 24 hours, oh well.
Yeah, I love that. Only show up when you're on your A game. That's good. That is good. So, I mean, let's bring it back to the conversation about wealth, because here at Rebel Radio, we love that word. But wealth can be a triggering word for a lot of people. And I believe wealth is a holistic thing as well. So I'm curious what you think wealth is and how you define wealth.
I love it. Well, I think that the best way to define it is to talk about the consciousness of wealth. That there's plenty of people on the earth. There's plenty of money on the earth. How I love to look at it is, people buy Porches, people buy mansions, people buy art, people buy horses, people buy real estate. And so, if they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, everybody can do it.
So that's the number one thing I would say that I bring is, sort of a childlike, like, if they can do it, I can do it. It's like, when you were like riding behind your brother on the bike, right? And, he could ride faster than you. And you were like, I'm not going to let you ride faster than me.
Right.
And I grew up with boys in the neighborhood. There weren't any girls in the neighborhood, I think, until I got to grade 3. So I was just like basically, a younger boy.
Tomboy, yeah. I grew up the same way.
Yeah. So, for me, wealth is available. That's the number one thing. And 2, having lots of it is not hoarding. Yeah. It's not. And, and really, if, having $500,000 or having $1 million really allows you to change your life, then the choices that are available to you when you're bringing in $500,000 a year are different, and there's something called the girl effect. And I talk about this in all of my videos. When women do well, women do well.
Yes.
It's like, okay, well, I'm doing really well. I'm going to go to the hairdresser. I'm doing really well. I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm doing really well. I'm going to put my kids in private school or get them a music coach or get them a singing coach or get them a riding coach. I'm doing really well. And so it's not hoarding. So, and I see this where people, especially mainstream media really wants to attack people who do well financially, women who do well financially. And, like, if you do research, which I do, it's retail. That's what allows women to become wealthy. And so retail has sales. And so if you're refusing to learn how you do sales or how sales can work for you or how you can actually have a sales component of your business, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And to be honest, you're doing me a disservice. I do well in my business and I would like to know about your service. And so if you're hiding out, then I can't hire you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I love that too, because it really creates that ripple effect and that impact that we're talking about. Because when women do well, when women are making money, we don't put it in a bank account and ignore it. We go and spread it out to the world. And the impact of paying for groceries, of getting your nails done, that's helping feed a family. It's not about the hoarding it in the bank account, but it's about that circuit of the money. The money's always moving. I love that.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that, I highly recommend that you have a beautiful nest egg that makes you feel opulent. Yes. Have it. Even if you have to have it in cash and stick it in a safety deposit box so that you won't spend it. Just have it, please. And, I have a thing where I recommend people divide their money up into 5. So past, So clean up your debt,
Yeah.
present, pay your bills right now.
Yep.
Future, put a little bit of money into the future for yourself. Having and household.
I like that. And of course, it's a 5.
Yeah.
Gotta have the 5.
Yeah, well, and 5 is such a nice number too, right? It's 20%. So putting 20% of your income away is opulent. It's beautiful. It's like, okay, well, I'm putting 20 away into my future for myself. I'm putting another 20 away into a having account for myself. And you can convert that having account into something that's more blue chip if you want to, like real estate or, nothing volatile, something that's really, really, you're planning on having it for a long, long time.
Right.
Yeah. I think real estate's probably the only thing I would recommend, but I come from a real estate family, so.
Right. Yeah. It is a pretty solid market to get into for sure. Yeah. I love that. So what is one truth that you wish every entrepreneur knew?
You can't do it alone.
Oh, I like that.
You cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
And, so thinking about that, like if you come from a place and space where, trusting other women hasn't been a smart idea for you, then you're going to have to, clean up your energy field, because in most cases, at least half of your clients are going to be women. So if you don't trust them to work with them, then they can't trust you to work with you.
Yeah, everything's a mirror
in your energetic field, and it's going to be invisible, and there's going to be part of you that is repellent to your ideal client. And so, I see these, even when they own their own company, even when they have employees, they feel like the buck stops here.
Right.
You know that saying? Well, you're Canadian, of course you know it. But, for your international audience, the buck stops here. It really creates a bottleneck where you're the one who's signing all the checks. You're the one who's signing all the invoices. You're the one who's signing all the, request proposals or contracts or things like that. And if you do that, then what happens is you have so many energy streams coming out of your body that it almost makes it impossible to complete the circuit. Yeah. I'm making an infinity symbol with my finger for people who are listening. Yeah. And, so you really want it to be that you are not doing it alone, but be very strategic about who you hire. There's so many different ways of checking people out beyond, getting their resume. I mean, that's the best foot forward. I happen to be a specialist in something called human design. And so if you can get someone's, exact birth time, location, and date, then I can show you exactly what kind of problems you're going to have with that person.
Every time I meet someone new, what's your date of birth?
Yeah, well, numerology gives you a ton of information.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you could share something with our audience about what's happening with current events, what's happening in the world right now, what would you share with our audience?
You know what I love is how mainstream it has become to have a holistic practitioner type mindset in business. And it's interesting. I have a long-term client who is a superstar. And, we've had these discussions where if she works with her husband, and if she had worked with a marital counselor, she would not have her business or her husband. If she had worked with just a traditional, let's look at your spreadsheets, let's look at your profit and loss business coach, I'll do a SWOT analysis.
Right. That sounds really dry.
Yeah, she wouldn't have her marriage or her business. Yeah. And she also wouldn't have her passion projects. So she has a really amazing business. This year, they're going to make over $1 million. And because we've we've condensed her business into these amazing systems and standard operating procedures. She now has the time to be able to have this extra passion project business. Not to say she doesn't love her primary business, because she does. But she has a real heart for holistic nutrition. And so her passion project is really taking off. And so she, working holistically in her business with me, we had a multi-prong approach on how to fix the things that weren't working in her primary business, which gave her the time and the inclination and the energy and basically like the mindset and the self-esteem to take on this passion project.
Oh, I love it. Systems set you free.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
There's always such resistance to systems. I know my clients the same thing. And as soon as we put the system in place, all of a sudden they're like, we have so much time. What's happening?
Because you're not bleeding it. And when you're bleeding time, you're bleeding energy. You just are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're saying yes to the wrong things.
Yep. Exactly. Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I feel like I could talk to you all day about this. But as always, we end the show with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm such an emotional person, and that's really part of my intelligence, is I really just feel deeply the futures that people are choosing. And there's part of me that has dread. And then there's a bigger part of me that sees that communities are building. These communities who are like, no, you're not going to do that with my future. And so what I actually know, and, maybe we can listen to this 10 years from now. What I know is that when people are in touch with their genius, what it is that they came here to be and do, and when they do it, this whole world is going to be completely different. We're going to be turning our eyes away from technology that doesn't feed the earth. And, we're really going to be like, I really feel us going back. I see it. People are making bread in their kitchen. People are growing veggies in their yard. Like, we are going back to probably like 1850, where it was like normal to have a kitchen garden, and it was normal to bake your own bread. And it was also normal for middle-class people to have a maid, a gardener, a driver. It was just like normal for you to have, you didn't do your own mending. You took it to somebody to go do it.
Right.
You didn't try to do everything.
Yeah.
We received from one another. So we allowed people to be experts. We weren't trying to like cobble our own shoes.
Don't know how to do that.
I'm going to take, where are you going today? Well, I'm going to the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. I'm trying to like make this shit in my own kitchen. Come on now.
I love that so much. Oh, thank you for your dream. Thank you for being on the show. It's been a pleasure having you.
Yeah, I love it. Invite me back anytime, Cindy.
Okay.